All right, so today we're going to be talking about the parts of a sentence. And so this includes the subject, predicate, verb, and object. So those are the terms that we're going to go over today. And this might be a review for some of you. This might be something that you have completely forgotten about. And so we're just going over these 4 terms today. So the subject, that is the noun or the noun phrase that describes who or what is doing the action. So to find the subject, you can ask yourself, who or what is doing the action. Now the predicate tells us what the subject is doing, or what happened to the subject. Now that might be a really confusing definition, so you can just think about the predicate as the verb and the object. And so our verb is our action word, and the object is whoever or whatever receives the action, the verb. So we're going to practice identifying them in a sentence together. Here, the sentence is Wally threw a football to Brett. And so for our subject, we're going to ask ourselves who is doing the action in this sentence. And in this sentence, the person who is doing the action is Wally. And so then we think about what is the action and the object in this sentence. And so remember, the predicate is the action and the object. So the predicate would be threw a football to Brett. And that's because it tells, the action is threw, and the objects that received this action is a football and Brett. Now, in that predicate, we know there's a verb and an object. So here, the verb is threw, and the object is a football to Brett. And again, that's whoever or whatever receives that verb, the action of the sentence. So let's try that again. So in this sentence, early Americans sewed quilts. First thing we ask ourselves is who is doing the action in this sentence? And the people that are doing the action in this sentence are early Americans. And so that's an example of a noun phrase. That is the subject. It's 2 words, but they go together, and early describes Americans, but we group them together as a noun phrase, early Americans. And then, what is the action and the object in this sentence? That would be sewed quilts, because there's a verb and an object. We've got sewed as our verb, and then quilts as our object. Because sewed is the action, and quilts is what receives that action. So, as an overview, sentences have 2 parts. You can always break sentences into 2 parts, a subject and a predicate. A subject always contains a noun, and a predicate always contains a verb and an object. So a further visual for that. Here, if this is your sentence, we can break it into 2 parts, the subject and the predicate. And then we can break the predicate into 2 parts, the verb and the object. So for an example, Paul and Cindy bought a new dog. The subject would be Paul and Cindy, and bought a new dog would be its predicate. So we broke the sentence into 2, and then we can break the predicate into 2. It has a verb, bought, and then the object is a new dog. That's what's received the action. So you're going to go on to complete the Google form on the parts of a sentence. I would recommend having this presentation open and split screen to help you. And if you have any questions, leave a private comment on the remote slides assignment, or you can send me an email at lauraedwards@birchesacademy.org. All right, so great talking to you. I'll see you soon.